In a faraway part of the galaxy, on a planet called Viora, lived an alien girl named Mira. She was from a peaceful species known as the Valorians. The Valorians had smooth blue skin, tall and slim bodies, and eyes that shine like stars. Mira was very curious about the universe, especially about the strange beings called humans. For many years, the Valorians had watched humans from afar. They saw that humans were different from themselves in many ways. Humans laughed loudly, created great machines, and cared deeply for their families. But there was something else about humans that Mira wanted to understand better: their way of life, and how they passed life from one generation to the next. Mira was a scientist. She loved learning about biology and the ways living things grew and changed. So, when her leaders gave permission to visit Earth, Mira felt excited and nervous. This was her chance to meet a human up close, after a long space journey. Mira's small ship landed quietly in a forest near a small town on Earth. She wore a special suit that helped her blend in with humans. Mira's heart beat fast as she stepped out of the ship and looked around. The air smelled fresh, and birds sang high in the trees. Suddenly, a young man appeared on a path. His name was Leo. Leo was kind and curious too. When he saw Mira, he did not feel fear. Instead, he smiled and said, "Hello. Are you lost?" Mira smiled back. "Yes, I am. I come from far away. My name is Mira." Leo nodded. "I am Leo. Welcome to Earth." They talked for a long time. Mira asked many questions about humans. She wanted to know about their homes, their families, and their traditions. Leo was happy to answer. He showed her the town and explained how humans worked and played. Mira told Leo about her planet and her people. She explained how Valorians grew their young and cared for each other. Leo listened with great interest. They learned from each other and found many things in common. One day, Mira said, "Leo, I want to learn more about humans, about life and growth." Leo thought for a moment. "What do you want to know?" Mira looked at him with shining eyes. "About how humans create new life, how baby begins." Leo smiled kindly. "That is a special part of human life. It is private, but very important." Mira nodded. "I understand. But I want to learn. Maybe we can study this together, carefully, and with respect." Leo agreed. "If you want, I can help you understand. But only if you promise to respect human feelings." Mira promised. "I will. I want this to be a true friendship and learning." So, they began their experiment, not a science experiment with machines, but a journey of trust and understanding. Mira would observe, ask questions, and learn about human biology and emotions. Leo would share what he could, making sure Mira felt welcome and safe. They spent many days together. Mira watched how humans cared for babies, how families worked. As teams, she saw joy, patience, and love in simple moments. Leo introduced her to his sister's baby and showed her how humans hold and feed their children. Mira was amazed. Humans have a deep connection with their young. It is more than science. It is feeling. "Yes," Leo said softly. "That is what makes humans strong." One evening, they sat under the stars. Mira looked at the sky, thinking about her own world and Earth. She felt a new respect for humans and their ways. "I want to understand everything," Mira said quietly. "Not just science, but the heart of humans." Leo smiled. "You will, and I want to understand Valorians too." Their friendship grew stronger with each day. Mira's curiosity was not just about biology anymore, it was about life, friendship, and trust. But their journey had just begun. There were many questions left to answer, many feelings to explore, and both Mira and Leo knew that the greatest discoveries were not just about science, but about the connections between two very different worlds. The next morning, Mira woke up feeling excited. The sun was shining softly through the trees outside Leo's small home. She was ready to learn more about humans and their lives. Leo greeted her with a warm smile. "Good morning, Mira. Today, I want to show you something very special." Mira's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "What is it?" Leo led her to a place nearby, a community garden where people grew fruits and vegetables. This garden is a place where humans work together and care for life. It teaches patience and trust. Mira looked around. The garden was full of green plants, colorful flowers, and buzzing bees. Some children were helping adults water the plants. Mira could see the joy in their eyes as they cared for the small, growing things. On Viora, Mira said, "We grow plants too, but we do it in clean rooms with machines. Here, it feels alive, like the plants are part of the people." Leo nodded. Humans believe that life is a connection, not just science, but feeling and care. Mira smiled. "I want to learn this feeling." As the day passed, Mira watched how humans work together. They talked gently to each other and helped when needed. Mira noticed how important trust was between people. It was different from what she was used to, but she liked it. Later, Leo said, "Mira, there's something else I want to share. Something about how humans create new life." Mira's heart beat faster. "I'm ready," Leo explained. "Humans have many ways to show love and care. When two people decide to have a child, it is a choice full of trust, respect, and hope." Mira listened carefully. She wanted to understand more, but she also knew this was a delicate subject. Leo seemed thoughtful as he spoke. "Creating a child," Leo said, "is not just a physical act. It is about feelings, dreams, and working together." Mira thought about this. On Viora, the process of growing new life was very different. It was done in special places called hatcheries, where scientists watched carefully. Valorians did not have the same feelings humans had about it. "Can I ask questions?" Mira said softly. "Of course," Leo replied. "Ask anything." Mira's voice was curious but careful. "How do humans know when they are ready?" Leo smiled gently. "They talk a lot. They learn about each other's hopes and fears. They make a promise to care for the child together." Mira nodded. "On Viora, we do not have promises like that, but I want to understand." Leo looked at Mira with respect. "I can show you, but it will take time. We must be patient." Mira agreed. She felt that this was not just about science anymore, it was about friendship and trust. The next days were full of learning. Leo introduced Mira to more people in the town. Mira met couples who were expecting babies. She saw the care and preparation humans gave before the child arrived. One day, Leo's sister, Nina, invited Mira to her home. Nina was expecting a baby soon, and she welcomed Mira warmly. Mira watched Nina as she talked about her hopes for the baby. She could see love shining in Nina's eyes. It was a feeling Mira had never fully understood before. Nina said, "We do not know everything about the future, but we prepare with hope and care." Mira smiled. "I see now. Life is not just science. It is hope." Leo nodded. "Yes, and that hope connects people." That evening, Mira and Leo sat under the stars again. The sky was dark, full of shining lights. Mira said, "Leo, I want to try an experiment. Not a science experiment, but one of trust." Leo was curious. "What do you mean?" "I want to understand what it feels like to share life and care. Not to create a child yet, but to learn about human connection more deeply." Leo looked at her and smiled. "That is a good idea. We can start slowly." They agreed on a plan to spend more time together, learning about each other's worlds. They would share stories, emotions, and moments of silence. Mira felt that this was the true beginning of her journey. Over the next few days, they explored many things. They watched human families celebrate birthdays and holidays. Mira learned about human traditions of giving and sharing. One afternoon, Leo took Mira to a place called the town library. It was full of books about human history, science, and stories of people's lives. Mira loved reading the stories. They showed her the struggles and joys humans experienced. She saw how people grew stronger through kindness and understanding. Leo said, "Humans are not perfect, but we try to be better. We learn from mistakes." Mira thought about Valorians and their own ways. She felt proud to share her culture, but also grateful to learn from humans. At night, Mira sometimes felt lonely for her home planet, but she knew that this journey was important. She was discovering not just science, but friendship, respect, and hope. one evening. As they watched the stars, Mira said, "Leo, thank you for being patient with me." Leo smiled. "Thank you for trusting me, Mira." They sat quietly, feeling the gentle night around them. Mira's curiosity had grown beyond questions about biology. She wanted to understand the human heart, the ties that bind people, and the beauty of trust. And Leo, in turn, wanted to understand Valorians and their wisdom. Their journey was only beginning, but already it was changing them both. Days turned into weeks, and Mira's time on Earth was filled with discovery. Every morning she woke eager to learn more about humans and their ways. But she also felt a new feeling growing inside her, a warm feeling called trust. Leo had become more than just a guide. He was now a true friend. Together, they shared stories about their homes, hopes, and dreams. Mira began to see that trust was not something that happened quickly, it grew slowly. Like the plants in the garden they had visited. One sunny morning, Leo suggested they visit a small town festival. It's a day when people celebrate life and friendship, he explained. Mira was excited. She had never seen a human festival before. At the festival, Mira saw people laughing, dancing, and sharing food. Children ran around with bright balloons, and musicians played happy songs. Mira's eyes sparkled as she watched the joy around her. Leo said, "Humans celebrate moments like this to remind themselves how important connection is." Mira smiled. "On Viora, we have celebrations too, but they are quiet and calm. This is different, but beautiful." As the sun began to set, Leo took Mira to a quiet spot near a lake. The water reflected the pink and orange sky. Leo looked at Mira with kindness. "Mira," he said, "trust is more than just learning facts. It is about feeling safe and being open." Mira nodded. "I want to feel that." Leo reached out and gently took her hand. It was a small gesture, but for Mira, it meant a lot. She felt warmth and comfort in his touch. On Earth, Leo said softly, people share feelings slowly. They listen and support each other. Mira smiled shyly. "I want to try." From that day, their friendship grew deeper. They spent more time talking about things that mattered to them, their families, their fears, and their hopes. One afternoon, Mira showed Leo some pictures of her home planet. She described the blue forests, the shining rivers, and the gentle creatures that lived there. Leo listened carefully, amazed by the beauty. "In my world," Mira said, "we grow new life in hatcheries. Scientists watch over the young carefully until they are ready." Leo was curious. "Is it very different from how humans have babies?" Mira thought for a moment. "Yes, it is safe and controlled. But I wonder if it misses something." Leo smiled. "Maybe it misses love." Mira looked down, quietly thinking. "Love is what makes humans special," Leo said. "It is a powerful force." Mira looked up, her eyes shining. "I want to learn about love." Leo laughed softly. "Love is not easy to explain. It is something you feel in your heart over time." Mira began to understand that the science of life was only one part of the story. The feelings and bonds between people were just as important. One day, Leo invited Mira to meet his family. They lived in a cozy house near the edge of town. His mother and father welcomed Mira warmly. Mira felt nervous at first, but soon relaxed. Leo's family was kind and curious about her world. They asked questions and shared stories to Dot at dinner. Leo's mother said, "Mira, it is special to have you here. Learning from each other makes us stronger." Mira smiled. "Thank you. I feel like I belong here." After dinner, Leo's father showed Mira a family photo album. There were pictures of weddings, babies, and celebrations. Family is very important. To humans, Leo's father said, "We support each other through good times and bad." Mira touched one photo gently. It was of Leo as a small child with his parents. She felt a warmth in her chest she could not explain. That night, Mira and Leo sat outside under the stars. Mira said, "I see now why you said trust takes time." Leo nodded. "Yes, trust is like a seed. It needs care and patience to grow." Mira smiled. "I'm glad I'm learning this." Leo looked at her with a soft smile. and I'm glad you are here." As their bond deepened, Mira's curiosity about human life and feelings grew stronger. She began to understand that the journey was not just about science, it was about connection, respect, and hope. But Mira also knew there were still many things to learn. The path ahead was long, and their experiment had only just begun yet. In that quiet moment beneath the stars, Mira and Leo felt the first true seeds of friendship and perhaps something more. The days were growing warmer, and the trees around the town were full of green leaves. Mira felt more comfortable on Earth with each passing day. She and Leo had grown closer, not just as friends, but as to beings learning from each other's worlds. One morning, Leo invited Mira to visit a local school. "I want you to see how humans learn about life from a young age," he said with a smile. Mira agreed eagerly. She had spent time studying human adults, but children were a new experience. The school was bright and full of laughter. Children were drawing pictures, reading books, and playing games. Mira noticed how excited they were to learn. In one classroom, a teacher was talking about families and how they are different but all special. Mira listened carefully as children shared stories about their parents and siblings. After the lesson, Mira approached the teacher, a kind woman named Mrs. Adams. "On my planet," Mira said, "we learn about life in ways that are very different. But I see here that humans begin to understand family and love early." Mrs. Adams smiled. "Yes, we believe that learning about kindness and connection helps children grow into caring adults." Mira nodded thoughtfully. "This is beautiful." Leo watched Mira closely. "What do you think about human families now?" Mira smiled softly. "They are strong because of feelings. Love gives them power." Later, as they walked through the town, Leo said, "Mira, there's something important I want to share with you." Mira looked at him curiously. Leo took a deep breath. "In human life, there is a special gift. It is called trust. When two people care deeply, they share this gift by becoming close." Mira's heart beat fast. "How do they share it?" Leo smiled gently. "It is a way to show love and respect. When two people trust each other, they can create new life together." Mira thought about the hatcheries on Viora. There, new life was created carefully by science, but without feelings. Here on Earth, love and trust were part of the process. "I want to understand this gift," Mira said quietly. Leo reached out and took her hand again. "We can learn together, step by step, over the next few days." Leo and Mira spent time talking about what trust meant to them. They shared stories from their past and listened carefully. One afternoon, Leo took Mira to a quiet garden near the edge of town. The air was filled with the sweet scent of flowers. "Trust is not just about words," Leo said. "It is about actions, being kind, patient, and honest." Mira looked around the garden. "I want to be kind like humans." Leo smiled. "You already are." They sat together on a bench, feeling the calm around them. Mira's blue skin seemed to glow softly in the warm light. That evening, Mira told Leo about her feelings. "On Viora, I have never felt this way before. Trust and love are new to me." Leo nodded. "It is a beautiful feeling, but it can also be scary. You have to be brave." Mira looked into his eyes. "I'm ready to be brave." The days turned into weeks, and Mira's understanding of humans deepened. She saw how trust built strong connections, how love gave hope, and how care created a safe place for new life. One day, Leo's mother invited Mira to a family gathering. There were children, parents, and grandparents all sharing stories and laughter. Mira watched as people hugged and helped each other. She saw how love connected every person in the room. After the gathering, Leo said softly, "Family is not just about blood. It is about trust and care." Mira smiled. "I want to build a family like this one day." Leo looked at her with warmth. "And you will." That night, Mira looked up at the stars, thinking about her home and the journey she had taken. She knew there was still much to learn, but she felt stronger and more hopeful. She thought about the gift of trust and loved the true power behind life. Mira whispered to the stars, "Thank you for this gift. I will cherish it always." Spring was coming, and the air was filled with the fresh scent of flowers and new life. Mira felt more connected to Earth than ever before. She had learned so much about humans, their feelings, their families, and the way they cared for each other. Leo and Mira spent many days together, exploring the world around them and sharing their thoughts. The bond between them had grown strong. They trusted each other deeply. One afternoon, as they walked through the town park, Leo stopped and looked at Mira with a serious but kind expression. "Mira," he said, "we have come a long way on this journey. I feel that it is time to take the next step in our experiment." Mira's heart quickened. She looked at Leo, curious but calm. "What step?" she asked softly. Leo took a deep breath. "I want to show you how humans share the gift of life, not just by science, but by love and trust. If you are ready, I want to be with you in this way." Mira thought carefully. She remembered the stories she had heard, the lessons about trust and connection. She knew this was a special moment, one that required courage and respect. "I am ready," she said finally, "but only if we both promise to be honest and patient." Leo smiled. "I promise." Over the next days, they prepared. Together, Leo taught Mira about the human body, the way life begins, and the importance of respect between partners. Mira shared stories of Valorian science, explaining the careful ways her people cared for new life. They spent quiet evenings talking, learning, and growing closer. Mira felt a new feeling inside, a mix of hope, trust, and joy. One night, under the soft glow of the moon, Leo took Mira's hand and looked into her eyes. "Are you sure?" he asked gently. Mira nodded. "Yes, I trust you." They sat together, feeling the quiet night around them. For the first time, Mira understood that creating life was not just a process of biology, but a shared promise, a gift, given with respect and love. Days later, Mira began to notice small changes within herself. She felt different, stronger, and more connected to the world around her. Leo was by her side every step, caring and patient. Mira remembered her people's hatcheries, but realized that this experience was very different. It was filled with feelings, hope, trust, and love. One evening, Mira said softly, "Leo, I am grateful. This journey is teaching me more than I ever dreamed." Leo smiled warmly. "And I'm grateful for you." Together, they faced the future. With hope, Mira knew that the path ahead would have challenges, but she was not afraid. She had found something precious, a connection that went beyond science. As spring turned into summer, Mira's bond with Leo grew stronger. They shared moments of laughter, quiet talks, and dreams of the future. One day, Leo took Mira to the garden where they first spent time together. The plants were tall and full of life. "This garden is like our journey," Leo said. "It started small but grew with care and patience." Mira looked around, feeling the beauty of the moment. "Thank you, Leo," she said, "for teaching me about trust, love, and life." Leo took her hand gently. "Thank you, Mira, for showing me the wonder of your world and your heart." As they stood together in the warm sunlight, Mira knew that this was just the beginning. Their experiment had become a story of friendship, trust, and a new beginning. No matter what the future held, Mira felt ready. She had learned the true power of connection, the gift that made life strong and beautiful. The summer days were warm and full of light. Mira felt a new strength inside her, a bond growing stronger with Leo. But with new beginnings often come challenges, and Mira knew their journey would not always be easy. One morning, Mira woke feeling unsure. There was a quiet worry inside her, a question she could not answer. She sat by the window, looking at the bright sky. Leo noticed her quietness and came to sit beside her. "What's on your mind, Mira?" he asked gently. Mira sighed softly. "I am happy with you, but I am also afraid. What if something goes wrong? What if I cannot understand everything?" Leo took her hand. "It is okay to be afraid. Every new thing can feel uncertain, but we face challenges together, and that makes us stronger." Mira looked into his eyes and felt comforted. She knew he was right. Trust meant being honest, even about fears. As the days passed, Mira's body began to change in ways she was not used to. Sometimes she felt tired, other times She felt bursts of energy and emotion. Leo was always there, helping her understand what was happening. One afternoon, they visited a doctor, a kind woman named Dr. Hill, who explained what was normal and what to watch for during this time. Mira listened carefully, grateful for the support. Dr. Hill said, "Your feelings and changes are part of the journey. It is important to take care of yourself and ask for help when you need it." Mira nodded. "Thank you. This is new to me." Leo smiled. "We will do this together." But not all days were easy. Sometimes Mira felt overwhelmed by the changes. She missed her home planet and the certainty of the hatcheries. The feelings were new and sometimes confusing. One evening, Mira sat quietly while Leo read a book beside her. She looked up and said softly, "I do not want to disappoint you or my people. I want to do this right." Leo put down the book and took her hands. "Mira, you are doing something brave. Learning new ways takes time. You are not alone." Mira smiled, feeling a wave of gratitude. As the summer passed, Mira learned to listen to her body and feelings. She rested when she needed, and talked openly with Leo about everything. One day, a small problem arose. Mira felt unwell and worried. They rushed to see Dr. Hill, who carefully checked Mira and reassured her that everything was fine, but reminded her to take extra care. This moment was hard for Mira, but it also showed her how much Leo cared. He stayed by her side, calm and steady. Afterward, Leo said, "We must be patient and kind, especially when things are difficult." Mira nodded. Feeling stronger, they spent quiet days together, walking in the park, watching the stars, and sharing their dreams. Mira felt her fear slowly turn into hope. One evening, as they sat by the lake, Leo said, "This journey is teaching me as much as it is teaching you." Mira smiled. "We are learning from each other." Leo looked at her with warmth. "Yes, and that makes us ready for whatever comes next." The challenges had made their bond deeper. Mira knew now that love and trust were not just easy feelings, but choices made every day. She thought about her people on Viora, the careful science of life, and now the human way, full of feelings, patience, and care. Mira whispered, "I am ready." Leo squeezed her hand gently. "Together, we are strong." Under the summer sky, they faced the future not with fear, but with hope and trust, ready for the next chapter of their journey. The warm summer days were slowly turning into gentle autumn. Mira felt the changes inside her becoming stronger. She had never imagined that learning about trust, love, and life would be such a deep and powerful journey. Leo was always by her side, steady and caring. Together, they had faced many new experiences and challenges. Now, they were ready for what was to come. One morning, Mira woke feeling calm and full of hope. She looked out the window and saw leaves beginning to fall softly from the trees. It was a new season, a time of change and new beginnings. Leo came into the room with a bright smile. "How are you feeling today?" Mira smiled back. Ready for the next step." Leo took her hand gently. "We have come far. No matter what happens, we face it together." Mira nodded, feeling strong and loved. As the days passed, Mira's body grew and changed. She could feel the new life inside her, a small, growing hope that filled her heart. One afternoon, Leo and Mira sat in the garden where they had spent so many quiet moments. The sun was warm, and the flowers bloomed around them. Mira looked at Leo and said softly, "I never imagined this journey would teach me so much about life, about feelings, and about hope." Leo smiled warmly. "It has been a gift for me too. You have shown me the beauty of trust and courage." Mira took a deep breath. "I want to bring new life into this world, not just through science, but with love." Leo's eyes shone with pride. "And you will." Time passed, and the moment finally came when Mira was ready to welcome new life. Leo stayed close, holding her hand and offering quiet words of comfort. Mira remembered her people's hatcheries, places of careful science and control, but here, in this human way, she felt something deeper. It was love that made this moment special. When the new life was born, it was a beautiful and peaceful event. Mira held the small being close, feeling a wave of love and hope she had never known before. Leo smiled, tears shining in his eyes. Welcome to the world, little one. Mira looked at the tiny life in her arms and whispered, "You are a gift of new beginning." As the days went on, Mira and Leo cared for their new family member with patience and joy. They learned together how to nurture and protect. Mira often thought about her home planet and the ways of science. But now she understood that the true power of life was in love and connection. One evening, as they watched the stars, Mira said, "I want to share this gift with my people to show them that trust and love make life stronger." Leo nodded. "Your journey will help both our worlds grow." Mira smiled, feeling hope for the future. She knew that her experiment had become more than just a study. It was a story of friendship, trust, and new beginnings. Together, they looked to the stars, dreaming of a future where different worlds could learn from each other and grow in kindness and understanding. Mira whispered softly, "Thank you, Earth. Thank you, Leo, for teaching me the true meaning of life." Leo smiled and held her close. "And thank you, Mira, for showing me the power of trust." In that quiet moment, beneath the vast sky, a new chapter began, not just for Mira and Leo, but for all who believed in hope, love, and the strength of connection. The end.